howling wolf for this Halloween-themed episode.
Okay, I'll try.
I was walking in the lab late one night when my eyes...
That's such a great song, isn't it? That's just so fun.
We did them.
I was walking in the lab late one night.
Better than Black Lace, isn't it? Better than
Black
Lace anyway.
It's in the same sphere as Black Lace. It's always on at Butlins. Like it would be Butlins, that, then Black Lace sprays, gig, and then I don't know, a bit Kylie or something.
To get us started, do you want? Oh, by the way, this is the Trout Spinners with Miles Pennell and Gary Forrestal. I hope
it's a special.
It's a special XFM in the community. We haven't done one for a while. We thought we'd loosely, because it's Halloween, we thought we'd tie it, eventize it in some way. You know, got to be topical, haven't you? I've got nothing to say on Halloween. I think everything that's been said about it has been said about it. But what are your thoughts, Gary?
Oh, thanks for asking, mate. Given that context, I'm not interested. Not interested.
How did I know you were not going to say that?
Not interested, baby. I sometimes get, in the supermarkets, they do big tubs of like candy, like you're supposed to give to trick-or-treaters. I sometimes buy them around Halloween when they put them on, just for me. But I've got a tub of snakes, actually, at the moment.
Do you know I bet you throw them at kids, don't you? Don't pass them, just throw them out your window like the bitter man you are.
Throw them into my mouth and eat them.
I never had I've never got the buzz about Halloween, and we've probably said it before. I've just got such a bad memory imprinted on my brain of a past trick-or-treat venture. This was about when I was so excited. I got one of those Scream masks, the mask face, whatever his name was. And I think it was just that and like jeans or something, like a blue shirt or something. Anyway, we went trick-or-treating and I immediately felt uncomfortable, and I went to this door. Trick-or-treat, woman answered. No knickers. No, she did have knickers. No, woman answered, and she was crying, and obviously like had a bust up with her kids or a husband or whatever.
Yeah, this is dark. How dark
I know it really was. This? And then she
the Outlaws,
and we just went, happy Halloween, trick or treat, and she was crying. Yeah, right. And she gave us an apple, and it was just I felt sad. I felt sad about the apple.
You were sad that you got an apple.
No,
not about her.
No, it's just a sad fruit is a very poignant thing, isn't it? It's just like it's almost like a symbol of her sadness, you know.
Was it?
And I carried that memory with me, and that makes me hate Halloween.
I think you've internalized some symbolism that isn't quite there.
Probably. We had a few listeners get back to us. I asked on our Twitter, your most scary RSK XFM themed Halloween costume ideas. We'll be doing lots of this episode, lots of your feedback, lots of your quotes, stories, etc. I'll ask you first, Gary, what would you wear if you had to go out tonight and do a bit of asking for free stuff from strangers?
What as in XFM related or just anything?
What would you dress up as?
Well, it'd have to be Ricky, Steve, or Carl, wouldn't it? I don't know. That's Claire Sturgis,
it could be
maybe.
one of the characters. Could be one of the characters they mentioned, though, couldn't it?
Oh, I'll tell you who I'd go as. Linda Hamilton. Now, I've already done Linda Hamilton as a piece of corn. It took me about 5 hours on Twitter. Got 3 likes. I did show base as a piece of corn.
So you'd go out as, it would be Gary Forrestal as Linda Hamilton as a piece of corn.
Yeah, and then everyone would get it straight away.
Yeah, they would, wouldn't they?
I wouldn't have to explain. What are you? Well, let me explain.
Linda Ham.
Right, have you ever heard of XFM? Let me just play you some tapes, and then I'll play you that tape.
You've got to get the context for this trick or treat, all right? You've got to...
Yeah. Look, just give me the apple, and I'll be on.
And then have a terrible memory. So Jake Stoney says man moth. That would be quite freaky, wouldn't it? Half man, half moth. Would, Ben says the shadow somewhere that pushes people off their bikes.
That's a good one. That's a
just
good
don't.
One.
You don't want to do blackface, you know, with
a shadow isn't necessarily blackface. Yeah, but if he just sort of blacked himself, like if everyone was black, don't do that. But make yourself grey, so you've at least got some plausible deniability.
No, that was. It was when Carl says you never see a black ghost. Definitely don't.
Oh, that's yeah.
Don't do that.
Yeah.
And then the girl with super bad tattoo says a split tennis ball. That would be.
Oh, that's just a whole big split tennis ball.
Just
yeah.
One.
Well, and then you imagine explaining that to someone like a mother of two young children. Like, right? Okay, let me explain.
We got Yusuf says a red sweatshirt with bullshit printed on it.
Yeah, I'll tell you what Yusuf could go as. He's whatever he's dressed as in his profile photo, because that always freaks me out.
Oh,
I don't know what
yeah.
it is. I don't can't work it
It's a
out.
bit,
Sort of
bit of a
antithetical with his what he says. It's like
balaclava. Rebecca says Mrs. Battersby costume, which was the ghost that Carl allegedly saw at the end of his bed.
oh yeah, yeah.
What about that painting
that's-
of the boy who caused all of the fires in the house? That's quite a good one, isn't it?
That's freaking. I do vaguely remember that story going round as a child. Yeah, but it's obviously bullshit.
And then you've got Carl brackets not, elephant man, woman with a funny neck, two lads with big heads and webbed hands, or the hairy Chinese kid. I think all of those you probably get.
Yeah,
the webbed feet is quite good, isn't it? That's quite good.
Well, yeah, but how are you gonna? You have to go barefoot and then like get them to look down at your feet, because that's it.
I've seen a lot weirder stuff.
Dressed in a suit and top hat, like a normal like business wear, but just having webbed feet.
Hello. Gary, do you want an Oasis fact?
Yeah, it says, see, if I don't know it, I might.
Okay.
If you can give me the fact I don't know, I'll be impressed.
Okay, so, do you know?
I'll genuinely say if I know.
Okay, so something big today, which is October the 30th when we're recording, happened in 1995. This single turned 26. Correct.
Wonderwall. Yeah, it's Wonderwall came out. And I'll tell you, Don't Look Back in Anger came out January 1996, but I can't give you the day. It might be your birthday. So January 1996, there will be another anniversary of a big single. But yeah, Wonderwall. It came out, and so some might say, then roll with it, which was last month. 25 years.
Do you celebrate these holidays?
No, I don't. To be honest, if you'd asked me what day Wonderwall came out, just randomly on a day, I wouldn't be able to say the 30th of October.
No, I just imagine it's you with like a Liam Gallagher shaped cake with 26 candles in, and then you just eat it that night.
No, I'd keep it there and lick it a bit before bed, and then put it in the fridge to keep it set nice and set.
Anyway, today we are going to go through your feedback. A lot of you have got in touch with us via email and Twitter, so we just wanted to dedicate a whole episode, as is sometimes what we do, and then we just basically talk about it. And we've got an interesting bag this week, Gary, but let's get started. With Paul Heron. Just finally seen
Paul.
what you two look like. It's if you ordered Pirates of the Caribbean on Wish. The podcast gets better each week. Love it. Any sign of Carl yet?
That's brilliant. Yeah, okay. No, thank you.
But we are very hairy gentlemen.
No, we are trying to get with Carl. Yeah, you're hairy on the top of your head and your moustache, and I'm hairy on the top as well, because I haven't lost any, all right?
And no one said anything either.
No, but I'm just saying.
Are you still using that product?
I still use the spray, every day.
Maybe we could get them to sponsor us. Anti-balding. That seems to be the demographic of our listeners. Slightly balding middle-aged men.
Right? There's quite a few women in there, you know.
Yeah,
there's
a women's
version you can't actually, because you grow facial. Although it doesn't actually impact your facial hair, it can technically in like 1 in 50 cases. So they don't recommend it for women. So
it does remind me of that Morgan Spurlock documentary filmmaker who did he ate the McDonald's and he got fat. Big surprise, right? But he did another film called The Greatest Movie Ever Made, which was he was trying to make a feature film made all up of sponsorships, placements and product placement. And so he got all these brands involved and they all donated stuff and he had to convince them. And it was basically like a comment on marketing and advertising and stuff. It's really good. It's for funny as well. He's a very funny, engaging presenter or documentarian. Anyway, they didn't get any money from this brand in the end, but they got Pony. It's called like Mane Shampoo or something. Pony Mane Shampoo or something, something like that. It's got a really hilarious name. I have to find it. And they didn't give any money, but he just loved it so much. It was shampoo for horses. And in one scene, he's just in a bath with a horse. Quite a nice little scene.
Okay,
I don't know if it was a real horse.
To watch it. I don't think it was a real horse. I haven't seen it, unless it was a seahorse.
Oh, yeah, now you're talking.
There you go. And we digress there. That was a digression. Well, the sort of thing you get on D-Trout spinners.
That's true. Any sign of Carl? Well, Listen,
Yeah,
man,
we're trying to
we're
get him.
always trying to get him.
We are trying to get him still. We through his friend Laurie Peters we interviewed. He kind of, but he said it was a no. Basically, it was a no. But we are trying.
Maybe in the 30th anniversary when Carl's
Yeah,
really looking for the money.
yeah.
So this is from Luke Wrench. All right, lads. Only discovered the podcast 2 weeks ago, and I'm enjoying it hugely. As a listener of the shows for 10 years, avid milk out of a saucer drinker, this podcast brings a fresh cherry to the top onto the top of the cake. Keep up the good work. Quick rockbuster for you. We had to name that hurricane after the last letter of the alphabet. Initial S. It's quite good, actually, this one. It's very easy. Come on.
Stormzy.
Well done. Are you a fan of Stormzy?
Oh, of course. That's my favourite day when he released his last album. What's the B-sides of each Stormzy?
Stormzy to final. I'm actually steeing Stormzy in March. Yeah, bizarrely.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That is bizarre.
I'm not sure, I wouldn't listen to a whole record.
Right.
Like it's stuff. I mean,
good.
Look at me.
No, I don't. Yeah,
thank you, Luke. That was great. Maxie Thompson. Hi guys. First of all, huge fan of the show, and I love that this podcast is creating a community of people who absolutely love the XFM podcasts. Like others I don't know, anyone who listens to these, so this podcast is the closest I have to having some kind of interaction with others who share the same love. I think a lot of people can relate to that, right? And I think that this podcast is having the desired effect. Stacey B says, okay, so one of my
sounds like someone from S Club Juniors. I'm not saying, it'd be like, she'll be like the one with the curly hair, she's like Stacey B. She's the one with the bowling shoes.
Well, S Club 7 was created by the same guy that did I think the guy who
Simon Fuller, is it?
Yeah, it was Simon Fuller, but Simon Fuller came up with the idea, and I think someone else pinched it.
Yeah, but he got all the money for it, didn't he? I assume.
I don't know.
Usually does. Anyway, let's not speculate on bullshit. Let's not speculate on S Club 7 during the show.
Let's speculate on anything. Anyway, Stacey says, okay, so one of my favourite quotes, embarrassingly, I can't quote specific eps, but it's when Ricky just goes, no. But it's the way he says it, and I'm pretty sure you'll appreciate it. Carl tries to argue his point or tell them to carry on, and Ricky just goes, no. Classic. Now, I know what that is because I did email Stacey back, and it's when Carl's trying to make the point that Mount Everest is because Everest, and then Ricky just goes, no. He goes, okay, no. Okay, well, we'll leave that. No, Carl, in what way?
In what way?
Everest.
Yeah, it wouldn't immediately jump out to me as like a classic, but yeah, it's really interesting to hear what other people's kind of favorite bits are, because people have these little, like I've got this thing about Gerald Preston. I think a lot of people do actually with that one, but there's different bits that we all take from it that we all kind of love that other people might not have as their favorite bit. And it says that's hers. It's funny. I do remember it now. Just from Ricky saying no, I wouldn't have got what that clip was, because he does say no quite a lot.
Another fave of all time.
Thanks, Stacey.
I think you'll appreciate this one. But the best thing about a nice lump of cheddar cheese is you don't have to have any dressing.
It's just Ricky. We talked about it with Daniel Sharman. Check out that episode. But Ricky's he goes. It's so hard to describe. I still can't describe after all these years. But he sort of deliberately slightly trips over. Don't have to have any dressing on it. It's just brilliant. It's like a character. It becomes a character when he does that. Like Steve would never do it. Like most people. That's not a slight on Steve, but you don't have to have any dressing on it.
I want you to say that next time you're at the Asda deli, which I know you like to go to. You should go to. You should get a nice mature lump of cheddar cheese and says, "Do you know why I like this? It's because you don't have to have any."
Yeah, well, no, they say any dressing, sir? No, you don't have.
You don't have to have any dressing. She goes on to say,
absolutely agree with you there, Stacey. Yeah.
Keep it up, you two. Last episode with Daniel Sharman, I thoroughly enjoyed.
Oh,
so
great.
Refreshing hearing a person of acting fame discussing the XFM shows so candidly.
Great, yeah, we enjoyed it, didn't we?
I really loved Dan. Dan was fantastic company, so do check out that episode if you haven't already. I did sort of say there's something sort of comforting knowing that the rich and famous, or at least the fairly well known and have actual talents, listen to the show. You do wonder who else hidden under rocks listen to this Not
I
this
think,
show, but like the XFM shows. Imagine if like a member of the
yeah,
royal family listened to it.
Prince Andrew. Let's move on.
Yeah.
Yeah, could be. If that, it'd be nice. Daniel's certainly the highest profile person we've had listen to our show anyway.
And we'd like to have him on again actually for when we do we're thinking like he can come on for the series 4 introduction pilot.
Yeah,
when we get round to that, if he wants to. So this is from Dino on YouTube.
Dino, hello.
And if anyone is, obviously, we do have a YouTube page, so do check out our shows there, in addition to all of your other podcast subscribers. So he's commenting, he's slowly working his way through the shows, and he's just reached the past XFM and the community show where you're talking about Ricky's. I don't know. I don't want to quote you, but it's back. You're talking about the freedom of speech.
Ricky being a gateway to the right wing.
That's it.
Yeah.
So he responds, couldn't disagree with you more with the last section on Ricky. You're not a fan of his work enough to know that everything you've said is answered in a podcast he done. Check out Ricky Gervais's Deadly Serious, episode 59. He answers everything you've said about him. Please do some more research before talking about it. It was also a little embarrassing how you hadn't watched all of his work, then interviewed Andrew, where he also told you why your opinion wasn't aligned with Afterlife. I like listening to this pod as you give a totally different angle, but it's always ripping into Ricky for his views today. He's suffered enough with fake stories about him that he literally has to explain his jokes so he can keep on working the next year. Cheers.
No, we don't. I mean, you agree, by the way, with my point of view, don't you?
I couldn't possibly say, mate.
No, you do. Don't shy away from it now, you little worm. I'll check that out. But I will say Ricky isn't like a right wing. I always make that clear. He's a gateway to the right, and I still maintain that view. But he stands up for, like, I saw a quote on YouTube on Facebook where he's standing up for gay rights. Absolutely, he does. Those direct things. But there's certain things when it comes to freedom of speech where he does actually lead you down the path to the right. Some people, but I will check out that episode of Deadly Cyrus. That's fine, but I wouldn't say it's embarrassing. But yeah, that's my view. I still stand by. I don't think he's answered. I've heard him answer in different ways, but I'll listen to that podcast. I'm a fair man. Yeah.
I mean, the only thing that I know that he has said, and I think Dino fair. I think it's.
I'm not criticising.
No.
I'm always very clear how much I love Ricky and how much of a hero he is.
Yeah, and you are allowed to say that you're like less of a fan of him now than you were at the time, and I think that's the broad opinion of most people who listen to this show, because we're all here because we love Ricky from a certain era or time. That's not to discount anything. I know Afterlife's got an absolute huge following. It's just not for me. I do think it's pretentious. I do think I don't think he's mature enough to tackle those subject areas, and I will stand by that opinion too, because I have actually watched it, or I've watched enough. I've watched a few episodes, and you can quit. I think nowadays, you do make your mind up on things really quick. I mean, you can debate whether that's a good or a bad thing.
Well, just let me highlight. If you want to join us over on Patreon and become a subscriber, we're about to record an episode for Patreon where we review Steve's new show, The Outlaws. So we won't go too much into that, but we just it's just a little Patreon plug where we will be reviewing some of their work, because it's I think we'll highlight some of the differences between how Ricky and Steve would have done that show. But yeah, Dino's obviously a fan of everything that Ricky's done, but that's fine. But I'm not,
We should also plug up something coming up. I'm actually going down to Brighton on the Thursday.
Live
Friday.
5th.
We're going to
5th of November.
5th. Yeah, I've got a hotel back, and me and Gary are gonna hang out. We haven't seen each other in the flesh for quite some time, so I'm looking forward to seeing you.
I think, when was the last time?
We went to the Black Lion in Brighton.
Yeah, but that was like last year, literally.
Yeah, it was last year.
And it's good you're coming down now, because I think there will be some form of restrictions put in place within the next month. So I think now is the time to come down.
Yeah, but no, so stay tuned for that live show.
Is that Trout's news?
Yeah. So our little mate, Steve Weller, who is a long-time listener, and
I just want to say thank you, Dino, for that comment. I appreciate it, even if you don't agree. Your feedback is welcome, genuinely.
Absolutely. Steve says, nice to see you two little fellas back to work. Guess you must have got Mondays off now. I wish we did. Mondays off.
Yeah.
So that's a great episode. This is the GAY stuff. Carl in the film is total genius. Love hearing Ricky laugh. This is the Kes episode.
Oh,
And you're right, the GAY brackets gay stuff is naughty and does really date it. But it's a brilliant little scenario between Paolo and Ricky. And it includes one of my favourite quotes ever. whilst Beckham's knocking them in. I'll be
I'm
knocking
knocking
one.
at them.
Yeah.
Whoa, hey, whoa. He goes, whoa,
Oh.
hang on. Yeah, it's okay. Yeah. I
That's
think
such a
Steve comes
fast
in.
line. I don't think we said that at the time, but that is such a fast, quick line, isn't it?
Yeah, it is quick. Beckham's knocking him in. I'll be knocking one out. Yeah, because it's like Ricky isn't into football, so he doesn't kind of know. He doesn't have those. But that's the thing with Ricky; he can kind of go to any space where he's not kind of comfortable.
Yeah.
That's why he's such a genius. But
I'll stick to the Eurovision Song Contest. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
And our last one today is from John Tideman.
But thank you, Steve.
Cheers, Steve. And we're glad to be back as well. John says, hello, chaps. Periodical Pilkington here. I run a YouTube channel where I cut up the rarer anecdotes of the XFM shows and podcasts. I started this channel because I realised there was a plethora of Monkey News educating Ricky clips out there, but absolutely nothing concerning the hilarious but less well heard tales that Ricky, Steve and Carl have regaled us all over the years. Anyway, congrats on the show. It's rather lovely and you both have wonderful chemistry together.
Thank you.
I
think there's a butt coming. So
there is a butt coming in, actually. How did you guess?
Yeah. I don't know.
I wanted to email in because I actually disagree with your opinion on the gang getting back together. I think
Get the fuck out. Stop reading. That's it. No, I'm joking, John.
I know. I think that Ricky, Steve and Carl could still produce some wonderful podcasts, but they would have to be framed in a totally different way. Just imagine how brilliant it would be if the three just sat in a room together and simply chatted about life, getting older, their respective careers. Amidst the musings, it's inevitable that humorous observations would arise, but I think that this gentler tone would really work, as it wouldn't be trying to recreate the magic of the old shows, but instead do something different. Just imagine if they just shot the shit with each other, reforming old friendships along the way that had previously withered. I think that these shows could be enjoyed in this more mature, somber way. This would obviously require a restrained Ricky with the promise not to probe or antagonise Carl, because then I feel like it would be a little forced. Anyway, ingest my thoughts and tell me what you think. What do you think, Gary?
I'm ingesting, I'm taking them in. Yeah, it would be interesting, but it would be kind of, what's the thing like for novelty factor? I'd listen to it, but I don't think that the way you describe what you'd want to hear would be the way they would go. And obviously a promise not to antagonise Carl, you kind of don't want that. You don't want to promise to antagonise him or to not antagonise him. It's kind of, it's going to be some of that, but it just doesn't want to seem forced. But I think it always would do. So yeah, don't get me wrong. I would listen to that if they came back together, but I think that it's not something I'd relish still. But I get your thoughts. Yeah, if it was like how you describe, that would be good. That would be interesting too. I just don't think it would be. There's too much has happened to the dynamic since that.
You hear it all the time, don't they? Bands split up, they get together, after massive fallings out, and it's just that same thing which we always return to, reviewing these shows one by one. It's all about the context, right? So if you enjoyed the podcast, these reunion podcasts separately to everything else, and you were able to distinguish them from the XFM shows, then I would be up for it. They're never ever going to be as good as the XFM shows because that they just captured a moment, and I would like to still check in with them now. Obviously, we've highlighted, we know what Ricky's up to now. We know what Steve's up to now. Carl was sort of in the press a little bit when he had sick of it, but he's gone off the radar like completely, and quite right too. I would retire quite happily. Yeah. And can I just say, on the subject of money, Gary, I am on a proper lottery winning streak.
Oh, you got 30 quid. He told me.
Well, no, better still. I got a free lotto, which got me a 30 quid. The 30 made me win a tenner, and the tenners made me win a 3. So
you've done the scratch cards.
No. They're 4 independent draws. But what's next? 1 mil?
Probably, £1.50. £1.50. Yeah. I've got about 28.
You keep halving the amount.
Draw. No, but I know that'll be on the Set for Life game. You got a tenner because that's the only one that gives out a tenner. That's terrible that I know this, but it will be Set for Life tenner.
What is it? I want to know. Can listeners get in touch with us? Actually, I do want to know this. What's the largest amount you've ever won on a lottery draw? If you do the lottery, because it's one of those things, isn't it? It's a mugs game, as Steve said.
I've won 140 quid a few times.
Have you really?
A few times, yeah. But I've spent a lot to get that. Yeah, spent a lot over the years. I've won 140 quid about 5 times. On the lotto, and the chance of getting 140 quid is 1 in 3,500, something like that.
Okay, if Gary could just stand up. Hello, my game is Gary. I've
Hello,
got a problem.
I've got a problem. I've been like, no, but then you could be the winner, and then who's got a
It
problem,
could be
Mars?
you, as they
It's
would
such a
say.
clever thing. It's I know, but
Yeah.
it's so it does get into your mind. It could be me. Oh, well, it could be me. They said so. They said it could be me. I technically
I like
can.
I like that Mitchell and Webb sketch where they're doing the lottery and it's showing all these fairly grim looking people as it just pans across. It's a spoof advert, and then the last scene is just a woman throwing 50p in the air with some dodgy CGI,
Oh yeah, it's
and then it
just down the
falls
drain, down the drain. Yeah.
I love that episode.
Well, one of the first times I ever saw Ricky, this is kind of bringing back to the show. The first time I ever saw Ricky, I didn't know who he was on the Saturday, what was it called? The Sunday show? He was saying
the 11 o'clock show.
11 o'clock show, that's right. And he was doing a report, like a reporter. And he's like, lottery, that's got to be a tax on the poor and the thick, isn't it? You know, classic Ricky, but really piling in. Like, but you'd never think they're going from that, like, to world famous megastar, that journey would ever be. Because it wasn't that funny, like what he was doing. But that was the first time I saw Ricky kind of taking the piss out of Lotto. That was his first thing that I saw him on. Well, that was basically one of the first things he ever did on TV, apart from those little things with Steve.
In more exciting and more inclusive news, if you don't want to do that.
What, that exciting and inclusive? Are you talking about that?
He's talking about his Max McCoy's crisps. Oh, I'll tell you what, in the decadent crisp market, my girlfriend, unnamed.
Unnamed.
We got this Whole Foods shop, right? And we bought these £3 bag of crisps, truffle crisps.
Truffle crisps?
Yeah.
You
bastard.
I was thinking of a word I couldn't say. It's inappropriate, but truffle
Honestly,
crisps, what flavour are they?
Black truffle.
But the flavour was truffle. They weren't made out of truffle.
That is the flavour.
But what are they made out of? Potatoes.
Gold.
They're
what
normal,
do you think?
like
Potato,
crisps.
yeah.
No, but so you can get all them made out of turnip.
Oh, right, yeah. Have you
I thought they might have
turnip
been
crisps?
made out of truffles.
Yeah,
I don't even know.
no.
Do you know? I wouldn't even know what a truffle tastes like. I wouldn't even.
I mean,
know.
I've never had one like formally. What's the poshest food?
Anyway, what have you had informally? What when you had a truffle, but it was informal? Like what a function for a colleague's leaving
on a plastic plate. It was but no, I'm never a fan of truffles or the fungi family generally. But very delicious and indulgent crisps. £3 a packet.
Like to know the mate.
That's
that's probably like a sharing packet, isn't it? Like that's big enough. That's not like a little.
Supposed to be, mate. Supposed to be a sharing packet, but you don't.
Right.
The crisp world has just changed so much, hasn't it?
I know about the crisp world. If it's not Oasis, it's the crisp world with me. I'll tell you.
What's your opinion on lentil chips?
They're good when they're lime. The lime and chili ones are good. Anything lime, I like. So there's a lentil one, and then there's a hummus one, which is equally supposed to be as healthy. Hummus. So both the lime versions of that, I think, are very nice. Particularly I can't remember. I think particularly the lentil ones. They're good. You can get them from the Whole Foods store.
I love that you're just into your citrus.
I do. I love the lime. I do. I love.
That just Chinese, so goes with your personality, though. Just sour
bit or like sharp, like
but
you want to spit it
that
out.
Thing, you know when you see like
tell Dino this.
Oh, no, I love it when my sister's children, when they eat like a salt and vinegar crisp and they lick the crisp and then they go.
Yeah.
It's so sweet.
There's videos of pets doing that, like licking. They'll give them a bit of like cherry aid or something, and
but with you, it actually with you when you lick it, you go. Actually, it makes you feel better, doesn't it? In a way,
it kind of it's like does the opposite. When I'm not licking a crisp, that's when I'm making that face. Like the rest of the time, so that's why I'm just going around that face.
Anyway, thank you, John. So what we're talking about? So we did crisps. We've done that. Tick that.
Yeah. Where were we? Oh, thank you, John. I forgot we were on John's email. Thank you.
Yeah. Cheers, John. And we will give your YouTube station a plug in the description.
Oh yeah, let's.
So what I wanted, big Trout spinners news. So you might have noticed on our Twitter, on our Acast homepage, etc., all across the board, on our YouTube, everywhere. We've done a bit of a rebrand, so I'd love you to get in touch. Let us know your thoughts. Our very good friend Claire Fauci, she's a French illustrator. I met her in my job. She now lives in France, but because she's French, which makes sense.
Good place to live.
And
Good place to live,
she's done some new artwork because we basically wanted to give we loved our old artwork, but we wanted to give a new look.
We did, yeah. I think we should keep it on the YouTube.
It was just difficult because, like, obviously we want to make sure that people find this podcast as easily as they can. It's not the most searchable term on YouTube, on the Googles. So that was the reason why we did it, really. But we love both of our artwork, and we hope you enjoy this one too. However, bigger than that, and quiet rumours at the moment, but probably likely to go ahead, I think we can say, right?
Oh, yeah. But there's a Christmassy show. We're going to do a live special in London. I can't remember the
Cock
where it is.
Tavern.
It's South London. Yeah. So we
in
won't
Hackney, not South London.
Yeah, Hackney is in South London. It's south of the river.
No, it's
so
not.
It is south of the river.
No, it's not.
Isn't it?
No.
Is it not? Okay. I hate that you know more about London than me. Are you correcting me?
Why would you
London?
think that? I live in London.
No, I thought that Hackney was, well, it's East London. So yeah, we're going to do a live show. Don't know the details yet, but it'll be a Christmassy kind of show. We might be dressing up, one of us, and if let's be honest, if one of us is going to dress up, it'll be me. Like something to do with the show related. So if you want me to dress up as something, if you've got an idea, let us know that. But yeah, that'll be a live show roughly the second week before Christmas. So the 13th is a day with this possibility, but we won't give out all the details yet because we don't know them. But we're gonna be sorting that out.
Come one, come all, on Christmas morning.
Oh, come one, come. All come at one. Do you remember that comedy show I was going to enter? And he said, they said, "Come one, come all," or something like that. And then he said, "But not all at once because it'll make the floor sticky." That was his joke. Like he was the one who ran the comedy night. That was his joke.
What a twat! Oh, I'm glad you're never successful like him.
Thanks. I don't have the luxuries he has.
But no, it's gonna. I can't wait to a live show. And if you have any ideas for what you'd like us to do on the night, any giveaways, I touted, a live grape off with Gary trying to munch as many grapes and see if we can break a record. A big sack of gifts where you can all pick up crap DVDs.
We will definitely be getting DVDs. There'll be a mouse mash made of foam, definitely. There'll be cigars, maybe, like with Mum's Tights. We'll have a range of. We have to start ordering them soon because they take some time to come in. I don't think you get all of them on Amazon Prime. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we get a mouse mat with. What about a mouse mat with our faces on it?
Like we can probably do that.
Yeah, but
we can do that. Or we could do a live auction and a Gary date auction.
Oh yeah, but they'll all be like middle-aged blokes like us.
Well, you can't.
Well, I can't choose. Beggars can't be choosers. You're absolutely right. No, I don't think that's right to do a date. But yeah, we'll live show. It should be fun anyway. So if you want to come, of course you can come. They'll be packing out the rafters. There'll be people like literally hanging on the gantry like to see it. No, they won't. So I was just going to say the owner of the pub is the guy who put on these two fantastic quizzes, XFM quizzes. Jack, we know him a bit from emailing, and so he's a big XFM fan, and hence why we've got he's happy to lease out, as it were, his premises to us for this live show. So yeah, thanks, Jack.
And lastly, let's move on to to wrap us up because I'm bored of talking to you, mate.
Great.
Catchphrases like that.
God.
We're going to do our Trout Spinners Library. Each week, Gary and I select a song that relates to the XFM shows, or not necessarily, it should be a song that we like. And this week, I'm going to go first. Going back to that Oasis fact we had at the start of the show, I thought it'd be too easy to put the Oasis version in. So why not bring
the Ryan Adams?
I'm going to put the Ryan Adams one.
There you would,
right?
Yeah. It's great, and I like it. But what I don't like about it is that Noel now prefers his version to Noel's original version. So Noel always does that live. He does the Ryan Adams version live. And if I was to see Noel live, I'd kind of want him to do the full version, like Liam does. But that's just a minor thing. But it is a good version. Do 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 do. Right now, you should have said.
So what are you going to put in? Are you going to put in Monster Mash?
No, have I put in EMF? Unbelievable. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, I'll tell you what, Chaz and Dave. Oh, what's it called?
Ain't No Pleasing You.
Ain't No Pleasing You. That's it. Yeah.
That's all right.
I downloaded that the other day. Great song. A genuinely lovely song. Such
and
good writers.
We did actually get the rights to play that in a past episode of Trout Spinners. The management team very.
Before?
No, you've never put it in before. But very kindly, their management team said we could play it royalty free. So, and that was in the
Do we get that
past.
signed? Do we get that signed on a piece of paper?
don't think
if not,
so.
they might be taking fleecing.
No,
all
but
of
it's
the thing we've got.
a nice song, and Chaz Dave, great artist, and that was actually on An Idiot Abroad.
Yeah, and it's perfect song for that episode.
So that wraps up this week's episode of Trout Spinners. Do continue to like, support the podcast in all the usual ways. Please do leave a review on our Apple page. I can't stress that enough.
Keep saying that. What if it's bad?
I don't. We just need something.
No, of course we do. Yeah, we need them.
It's nice to get in the charts.
Dino, Dino, don't leave one.
I think Dino, after your retort, will give us gladly a 3.5. I reckon.
No, listen, I was very respectful to Dino. I think he's got interesting views, and I don't solely disagree with them. I just think I do think differently, and he thinks differently to me, and I'll always both stand by our own views, but with respect.
Absolutely, and we do encourage you to get in contact with us on all the usual ways, even if you disagree with us, because it's good to engage in a live debate with you, listeners. spinnerspodcast@gmail.com or on Twitter. That's Spinners Podcast. Right,
So
I was just going to
let's wrap
say that I'm going to a Halloween party today. Guess the starting time of the party.
Does it involve jeans? No,
I've never ironed a pair of jeans, and I stand by that.
I would start a party at about 2:30 p.m. I imagine the party starts at about 10 p.m. because you're
9 p.m. not far off.
9 p.m. That's it. Yeah,
what the fuck am I going to do for like 8 hours?
It's supposed to be spooky, isn't it?
But I don't like that. Do it now. Get it over with.
Well, yeah, I guess so. Remember, listeners, also the clocks go back. I'm just saying. I mean, everyone's phone does it themselves now. But remember the day we had to do it ourselves. We had to put our phone back.
You're so fun, aren't you? Remember, guys.
Yeah, well, that's my best memory. That's my favourite day.
That's my favourite day. Anyway, guys, thank you for your company, and we'll see you again next week. Ta-ta.